Hey gang, it's been a long time, but as the kids say, better late than never. So this video that you're going to see here, I filmed about 6 months ago. It was a project that I've created for my basement that at the time was not finished. I made a large built-in entertainment center to go around my TV and create some storage for my basement. So I hope you enjoy this video, and sorry it took me so long. The first thing I'm going to do is rip all of my stock down to its proper length and width. Yeah, that's right. When you're first cutting your wood, you call it stock. I learned that from the big boys. Once I got everything cut down to its proper length and width, I then took my handy dado sled that I made a while back and cut some dados in all of my pieces, well, all the pieces that I needed dados, and then I was actually ready for initial assembly. The first portion of this actually went together very quickly, so who knew? I initially designed this to be two separate cabinets because I was worried if I made one big one, I wouldn't be able to get it up out of my basement once it was ready to go to the painter. I just slid my shelf pieces into my dados and applied some glue pretty liberally, and then used some brad nails to secure everything, and then I was ready to slide in the back piece. That's what I'm doing right here. Again, liberal glue, slide it in. Already had some dados cut, so everything went together pretty smoothly. Then I just attached a few pieces of wood to the back to give me something I could use to secure it to the wall. Something a little more secure than 1/4-inch plywood. To attach those back braces, I guess we'll call them, I just applied a liberal amount of glue, and then I used some pocket holes to attach it to the sides. Pretty simple and straightforward. With the cabinet carcasses finished, I was ready to build the top. This is solid maple. It was very expensive and it left little room for error. So I actually drilled pocket holes in it to secure it rather than just gluing it and clamping it. I figure at some point in time there's going to be a child climbing on top of it, and I don't want to take the chance with my glue up, especially when it's hundreds of dollars of maple sitting there. If you're confident in your panel building skills, by all means skip the pocket holes, but I just did not want to take that risk. My process here was glue it, call it, clamp it, and then screw it, just in case you're having trouble following along. So I did that to try and hold all of the pieces nice and flush with each other. Then obviously I clamped it so that they were all nice and snug with each other. And then just to over-engineer it a little bit more, I went ahead and drilled in those pocket hole screws. The panel glue up actually went pretty well. Everything was fairly flush, but I did spend a bit of time sanding it because it's a big panel and it was just hard to keep everything nice and flush. Now that the top is done, it's time for the face frames. I apologize I didn't film it. I was kind of under the gun to get this done before the carpet guy came to lay the carpet. This is why I don't wear a lot of pants in my videos. So obviously you just saw me attach the larger sections of face frames. Now I'm creating what is basically some edge banding for the section that's covered by the cabinet doors. I just took some thin pieces of maple and glued them to the edge of the plywood that was still exposed. Nothing complicated. Now I'm ready to attach the top. A little advice for you, be very careful along the wall. I did have some glue squeeze out that kind of attached this cabinet to my wall. It wasn't a big deal because it was covered by the cabinet, but please learn from my mistakes. I would have preferred to attach it out away from the wall, but since it is sitting in a corner, I wanted to make sure everything fit nice and flush. including the cabinet, the face frame, and the top, which I just figured would be easier to do if it was already in the proper location. We are almost done with this. It's just time to attach the cabinet doors. Full disclosure, I purchased these at Menards. I did not make them myself. I could probably go either way on buying them or making them. My initial thought was if I buy them, they're all going to be nice and uniform and perfectly sized, and it takes me a long time to make a cabinet door. However, that forced me to design the entire rest of the project around these cabinet doors, and that was a bit of a headache during the design phase. The doors are on, and now it is time to build some small shelves. I built one little narrow shelf to go on either side of my TV. Drilling some holes right now for some pegs so that we can adjust shelves, individual shelves within each one if need be. Once I got those holes drilled, they are ready for assembly. Just using pocket holes here for the most part, and then I'm going to make some back braces for these just like I did before so that I can use a 1/4 inch piece of plywood for the back of the shelf. I must have trimmed out a lot of the clips of myself trying to assemble this because it fell over a lot. It was kind of embarrassing, but I did eventually get it put together. Now that the frames are done, it's time for the shelves, the face frame, and the edge banding. I followed more or less the same process as I did on the lower portion, but I actually did film the creation of the face frame this time. Pretty easy, just 3 pieces of wood, pocket hole screwed together, and yeah, not a lot to it. Alright, everything is assembled and sanded, and so it's time to ship it off to the painter. I could not be happier with how this turned out. I had the painter stain it the same color as all the trim and the doors from my basement, so everything matches very nicely. Thanks for watching.